In my career as a judge and in law enforcement, I have not seen a more dangerous threat to democracy than the invasion of the Capitol. In the FBI's view, the top domestic violent extremist threat we face comes from racially or ethnically motivated violent extremists, specifically those who advocate for the superiority of the white race.
Over 1,000 people have been charged in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. At least 15% of those defendants had previous police or military experience. That includes so-called Oath Keepers founder Elmer Stewart Rhodes, who spent 7 months in the Army before being discharged. Elmer Stewart Rhodes was convicted of seditious conspiracy and sentenced to 18 years in prison. The new documentary, Against All Enemies, examines how military veterans become radicalized. Here's Army veteran Michael Breen, who served in both Iraq and Afghanistan and now runs a human rights group.
I'm not surprised that extremist organizations try to recruit veterans for the credibility that we bring, but also for our commitment. And that commitment takes a lot of forms. Veterans are people in our society who in many ways have said, I will do whatever is necessary to preserve what I believe in, up to and including violence.
That's the same kind of they've been doing their whole career. You know, now they're doing it here inside the United States. It's kind of a weird feeling.
Joining us now is Charlie Sadoff. He is the writer, director, producer of the documentary Against All Enemies, which recently premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. What is it that you're finding in the recruitment of military veterans to radical causes that might be related to what happens to them in the military or who they are before they join the military?
First of all, thanks for having me, Lawrence. I think mostly when service members come out of the military, what we found is that they long for the sense of mission and camaraderie that they had in the service. And a lot of them aren't finding that when they come back. And that makes them ripe recruits for groups like the Oath Keepers, where someone like Stewart Rhodes comes along and he has a Yale law degree. He served in as you mentioned, he served overseas. He wears the eye patch, even though that actually happened at an accident on the shooting range. And he's someone who's a very compelling figure who offers that kind of sense of purpose and mission through groups like the Oath Keepers.
But we've had millions upon millions upon millions of military veterans exposed to the same camaraderie, the same kind of adrenaline rush of the work, who come back and are not inclined to do these kinds of things in any way. And so that certainly in and of itself can't explain it. There has to be something about the individuals who go in that direction that tells us more.
Well, I think a lot of them are being what we would call radicalized online by misinformation. I think one thing that we found with the people that we've spoken to and digging into the history of this, because this has been going on since the Civil War, that when veterans come back from service, they are more prone to violence when they come home. A lot of them are, and as you mentioned, a lot of them aren't. But I think a lot of them have been convinced that the country is not what they believe it should be, whether that's that the election has been stolen, that the Constitution is somehow being torn up in front of them through various means and by various actors in the deep state. And the proliferation of this information online is very powerful, and a lot of veterans are susceptible to it.